10. Manhattan.
You want all these tiny explosions to turn themselves inside out? That's the goal?
Yes.
Manhattan is a period drama television series created by Sam Shaw. Not intended to be entirely historically accurate, but rather inspired by the traumas of history. This dramatic retelling of actual events takes on the Manhattan Project, when scientists raced on a high-stakes game of cat and mouse to create the first-ever atomic weapons. Following the lives of various scientists who knew little about the project itself and had to keep it from their families, it is every man for himself.
Birds fly cow shit, all right? They're each true to its nature. An explosion goes boom. The force of energy expands.
Right. So how do we reverse it?
Number 9.
We'll go to the war ministry. There were 8,000 people at the Circus Krona the other night. As soon as they know what's happening, they will support us.
Hitler, The Rise of Evil, is a historical drama miniseries created by Christian Duguay. In this haunting biopic of the world's darkest time, we become eye-to-eye witnesses of the evil rising in Germany and lurking its way into the whole world. After rising to power through the end of World War I and spreading hate against the Jewish culture, Adolf Hitler is on a mission to conquer the world and destroy all his enemies.
What the hell's happening?
There are too many of them. Somebody must have betrayed us.
What are you doing here? Where's Carr and the others?
Oh, I let them go. Their wives were a concern. Well, that's all right. They gave me their word they would notify the authorities.
Good God!
Number 8.
We do parades so Scheitskopf can feel like a tough guy. That's what parades are for.
Yeah, that's what parades are for.
Catch-22 is a 2019 dark comedy miniseries created by Luke Davies and David Michaud. It follows Captain John Yossarian in World War II, who is a U.S. Army Air Force bombardier. Upset that more and more missions will lead him to being killed, he is trapped by the name-giving rule Catch-22, which denies him of any relief of duty. Finding himself in more and more absurd situations, John has to win a war that he is not willing to accept.
No, you're out of your mind. Parades aren't designed to teach us anything. They're designed to humiliate us. They're designed to make us suffer the indignity of doing something entirely pointless so that sadistic fuck Scheitskopf can demonstrate he has power over us. Because apparently that's how sadists get their kicks.
Number 7. The Heavy Water War.
They'll be all right. Absolutely. Sooner or later. One hopes sooner.
The Heavy Water War is a war miniseries created by Peter S. Rosenlund and Per Olav Sorensen. Exploring the historical events during World War II, when the Germans were at the peak of their nuclear weapon program, we witness the heavy water sabotage in Norway to disrupt it. With focus on the different perspectives as well as on the enemy roads, the Heavy Water War becomes a realistic and honest portrait of espionage and war.
Wanting to do something is not the same as being able to do something. And being hungover is not being fit to fight.
Number 6.
What did you do in the First World War? Do you presume to tell me how men feel and think at the front?
War and Remembrance is a war miniseries created by Herman Walk. Examining the impact of war on life outside the direct horror and violence, War and Remembrance takes on the time period between the attack on Pearl Harbor up until when the atomic bomb is dropped on Hiroshima. During those years, we witness how life has changed through the eyes of two families that each carry their own burdens of trauma, hope, and dreams.
If I had listened to intelligence, I would not have conquered Czechoslovakia and Poland and France. The intelligence is what cowards like you hide behind.
Number 5.
We've been trying to identify a suspected Russian agent who turned up in a hospital not far from here. Any idea who he might be?
Foyle's War is a war mystery television series created by Anthony Horowitz. Taking on the consequences of war in the form of a crime series, this long-running show depicts a ruthless and highly underestimated detective fighting his own personal war in the midst of the very war that would change the world forever, World War II. As many of his victims and criminals are poor souls, confused by what they have witnessed in the war, the lines between right and wrong blur.
It is a concern.
Well, not any longer. He's dead. Suicide, apparently. And a doctor at the very same hospital, coincidentally, has also been found dead. A Dr. Ross. Mean anything?
Ross.
Number 4.
Trying to give us the baby.
Here we go.
The Pacific is a war drama miniseries created by Bruce C. McKenna. Heavily inspired by the success of Steven Spielberg's Saving Private Ryan, The Pacific is led by a similar style and expands the horrifying story of the Pacific War, focusing on 3 different Marines who served in different regiments and all gained their own experiences of death and destruction. Throughout the show, we witness the very first Marine Division's battles in the Pacific, as well as the involvement into the battles of Iwo Jima. Number 3. Generation War.
Schneller, Winter, ich will hier endlich raus aus diesem Verdacht. Was?
Generation War is a German war miniseries created by Stefan Kolditz. In this heartbreaking but still incredibly thrilling war series, we witness how friendship seems to be broken by the outbreak of war. When 5 friends lose each other when forced to serve, they give themselves one important promise: to find each other together again when winter hits and celebrate Christmas together. But the unknown consequences of war hit harder than expected. Generation War perfectly captures how the world is not black and white while maintaining a truth behind the topic.
Grüß meine Schwester. Jetzt komm schon!
Number 2.
Alarm!
The Boat is a German war drama miniseries created by Tony Saint and Johannes W. Betz. As a sequel to the famous movie with the same name, this adaptation of a horrifying war event sees a young and ambitious but unexperienced commando submarine being sent into the enemy waters. With rising revolutions in the final years of World War II, the horror is at its peak. As the fights underwater get harder and more complicated, the men on board are forced to overcome themselves and their greatest fears.
April, April. Übung ist das halbe Leben. Nur kein Moos ansetzen.
Probealarm.
Boot durchpendeln.
Before we unveil TV show number 1, here are some honorable mentions.
Auf der Heide steht ein... The hell is going on? Das Blümelein. Und das heißt... Erika.
Runter von der Brücke, das ist eine...
Runter von der Brücke! Runter von der Brücke! Runter! Und! Runter von der Brücke! Runter von der Brücke!
Have you heard anything from Harry? These last few days, that's all.
Well, he's not hiding from you or your daughter, if that's what you're worried about.
Oh, no, that's not what I mean. He's with the British troops, isn't he? In France and Belgium.
Yes, I know what you meant, Douglas.
Number 1. Band of Brothers.
As first lieutenant, you'll serve as my executive officer. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
Band of Brothers is a 2001 war drama miniseries created by Tom Hanks and Steven Spielberg. Inspired by the haunting depiction of D-Day in Saving Private Ryan, Band of Brothers is the dramatization of the Easy Company, who were assigned to the U.S. Army's 101st Airborne Division during World War II. Over 10 episodes, we witness the sheer horror the unit goes through and how they must create a strong bond in order to survive, remain sane, and remain their humanity.
Do you agree with our list? Please let us know in the comments. If you want to know more about a particular TV show in this list,